Raymond, the 49ers preseason begins this Saturday with the Chiefs coming into town. And this made me think of a question. And for the GoldCast audience, they have no idea. Raymond does not know what this question is. I'm just going to drop it on him right now. Raymond, here's my question for you. Rapid fire answer. Just the first thing that comes out of your gut and your mind. Tell me the answer. Raymond, just off the top. What's the 49ers record going to be at the end of the year?
Oof. I say 14-3.
Sheesh.
This is the GoldCast.
Boom! Welcome to another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the first, baby.
Boom! Raymond, wow. What a difference a week makes. I don't even know where to begin when it comes to our San Francisco Giants because so much has gone down. Let's just go through a couple of highlights. How about last Thursday when the Giants win 5-4 in their final game against the Diamondbacks? They are down 0-4 going into the ninth. The last time they had done that, they had won a game going in 0-4 into the ninth was in the 90s. Was almost 30 years ago. How about Kris Bryant making an instant impact in almost every game he's been in, either offensively or defensively? Clutch hitting, clutch runs, clutch defensive catches. How about Brandon Belt hitting 4 home runs in 4 straight games? I mean, where do you even begin with this team? There is so much to be excited about. This team, we were concerned. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of July. And we were concerned that they were limping a little bit into the All-Star break. We were concerned before that the Dodgers had pretty much just destroyed us at home. And as the season has gone on, this team has just gotten better and better and better. This team has a resiliency that we weren't sure they were going to have coming out of the All-Star break. We were terrified when Cueto was on the mound against the Dodgers. We were terrified that we wouldn't be able to stay consistent against that team. We have bested everyone they've put in front of us. And instead of, slowing down or laying down and dying, this team just seems like it is continuing to stay on track as the best team in baseball. I mean, Raymond, what is your reaction to just the overall success of the Giants and this incredible last week that they've had?
I was talking to our father about this, and
the unofficial fourth member,
the unofficial
of the GoldCast.
Fourth host of the GoldCast, and I don't remember ever watching a Giants team that was this fun. Not even for the regular season, not counting the championship teams. The regular seasons were never, jaw-dropping dominant baseball for the Giants in 2010, 12, or 14. Even the Barry Bonds team that went in the early 2000s. I'd say there was a little bit more of this dominance in the 80s and early 90s when the Giants were competing, and that was before there was a division round or a wild card round. It was just the championship series and then the World Series. And I think even one of those seasons, the Giants won 100 games and still couldn't make it because of the playoff format that existed back then. So I would say that's the closest. But again, I wasn't watching baseball or even understood it as well as I do now, having played it and watched it for many years. And the Giants are now 30 games over 500. I don't recall ever watching them a single season in the years that I've been watching baseball, ever recalling a Giants team that was 30 games over 500. The last time I saw a team where I was paying attention to a broad spectrum of stats and I saw a team that was 30 games over 500 was, I believe, the Boston Red Sox, and they went on to win the championship that year, and they were dominant the entire season. So it reminds me a little bit of them. They've got pitching, and the thing I think what makes the Giants so dangerous is the fact that they can beat you from a multitude of different of they can beat you with pitching, they can beat you with defense, and they can beat you with big bats. But what's more so potent than just that, because that's kind of a general statement, but it can come from any player in this lineup. In the 25-man roster, anybody can do it. They're so deep and so gelled at this stage in the game that I think not only are they statistically the best team in baseball, but they are far and away the most dangerous team in baseball because they can beat you with anybody. They're not reliant on specific role makers. For example, their closing has been a platoon, and they didn't even use their two platoon guys yesterday to get the 5-4 victory. Brandon Crawford took a gamble and decided to go for two after slapping one in there, and he got put in scoring position, which ended up being the winning run to win the 5-4 game and beat a number one place team in the Milwaukee Brewers. So they're beating the good teams, which was something that was a little bit more critical of them in the early half of the season. But as we've seen them come out of the break, they've faced pretty stiff competition and they've answered the call, and they've won tight games because games against this type of competition are going to be tight, and it's going to require a combination of stellar pitching, defense, and offensive output. And the Giants are getting all three of those things done. And as we now know, they've got another series win under their victory, and that's why I think they are by far and away the most dangerous team in baseball, and I don't think anybody wants to see this team in October.
I agree with you that this is easily the most fun Giants baseball team I've ever seen. I have never seen a team with offensive firepower like this. Let's go back to the dynasty, as you mentioned a second ago. And if you go back to the dynasty, what was the phrase that we all said for the dynasty? It was one word. It started with a T, and that was torture, right? It was torture. It wasn't fun. It was torture. Giants win 1-0. Giants win 3-2, 2-1. It was always on the backs of like stellar pitching. I mean, just top-notch pitching from Tim Lincecum, Matt Cain, Madison Bumgarner, and like we just rode the backs of these pitchers, these aces.
It was a heavy pitching rotation that really carried that team, and just barely enough offense. It was often frustrating to watch from that side of it, but the pitching you knew was always going to be there, whether it was Wilson closing or Romo closing after him. Everyone had their role, and we relied on those specific players in specific roles, whereas here we just have a platoon of 25 men that can all beat you. That's what's just so crazy about this team.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is the difference, is that maybe the pitching isn't quite what it was in during the dynasty era. I mean, those three guys, and yes, even Brian Wilson and Sergio Romo, also great additions and great closers. The pitching isn't quite what it was then. It's still really good. But the offense, the overall defense from Crawford to Posey to Bryant and to everyone in between is incredible. But the offense is just insane, right? I mean, these guys, let's just look at some of the numbers real quick here. You got on Monday, the last time we recorded, the Giants won 11-8. Then they lose 3-1. This is in the Diamondbacks series. They lose 3-1 on Tuesday. On Wednesday, 7-1. On Thursday, 5-4. That was their final game. Then we go to the Brewers. We lose 2-1. We win 9-6. We beat them again yesterday, 5-4. I mean, it's just 9, 5, 2, 5, 7, 11. It's just out of control. The offense is probably the most fun part, and offense is the most fun part, for baseball fans, and probably the thing that we need more of to make this sport popular once again.
The home run era drew a lot of eyes because you had multiple hitters that were vying for home run records, and it was fun to watch. It wasn't fun to figure out how they were doing it in the aftermath of it, but that's a debate for a different show. I think Kris Bryant, has been a constant contributor, 9 hits in 7 games. So, or 7 days since he's been with us, including, or 7 games. Yeah, 9 hits in 7 games. That's amazing. He's been nothing. In fact, I feel like he's gotten hot. He got hotter once he came to the Giants. And I think he's just been galvanized by the fact that this is a terrific clubhouse and you're on the best team in baseball. And we got you because it's like, hey, you're here because we want you to contribute to the best team in baseball. So there's a little bit of pressure there, but Kris Bryant seems to fit like a glove.
He does. This is really exciting. We've got not that much left. We've got about another couple months, a month and a half here, and then we really get into it. Still some great teams coming up, Raymond. Just to give a sneak preview, the Mets are coming up. Another round against the A's, the Brewers again, the Dodgers for our final series of the season, and then we get to play the Padres 7 out of 10 times, and that will most likely determine who is on top of the NL West. That series, those two series, 7 out of 10, just like we did with the Dodgers, 7 out of 10, that will determine exactly how the NL West shakes out. And I'm very curious to see how we do. The Padres is the number one test, and that isn't till September. So we're about a month away from that series, and so that we've got plenty of time to look ahead at that one. But this
and September also includes the Dodgers, so that's going to be a big test month because it's right before October. So it'll be nice to kind of solidify winning series over those teams heading into October because it's still a tight race in the NL.
Very tight.
West, in the NL West.
Yeah, very, very tight. So it will be exciting, and I cannot wait. But again, if you're not watching, this is the time to tune in because it's just getting hotter from here. And October baseball, playoff baseball, is some of the best playoff sports in all of sports. I absolutely love playoff baseball. Even when the Giants aren't doing well, I still tune in to playoff baseball because it's really fun to watch, really exciting. But all right, Raymond, let's move on. It's time to move to our boys in the red and gold. Raymond, so it is important to discuss right now with our fan base that, we have a lot of new people, we have a lot of new subscribers, both on all different social media platforms. So it is important to prep everybody that the show does change its format a little bit during the 49ers season. We do a preview episode of every game, and then we do a reaction episode to the results of those games. And that really is the major format that we maintain during the 49ers season. Now, obviously, with the Giants...
Although now, we're going to have to intertwine the Giants in there because they're setting themselves up for a deep playoff run.
Absolutely. And especially, do not be fooled. If these guys, every playoff game will be analyzed. If they get to go to the World Series, there'll be a full World Series episodes. It'll be a stop the presses. Let's get this going. But that is generally the format that we have going into this next phase. And this is probably the most fun time of the year for us is the 49ers season. We originally, many years ago, the 49ers GoldCast, that we originally just centered around the 49ers, and that was it. So this is really our bread and butter. And Raymond, the new season begins August 14th. Those stinking Chiefs coming to town for a preseason game. Not the biggest of stakes, but, there's going to always be a little animosity between these two clubs until I think we get a chip, and there's going to be a little bit of that edge when those guys come into town. And Raymond, how excited are you for the start of the new 49ers season?
Oh, man, I am very excited to see. I'm most excited to just see this team healthy, back on the field together again, and being very, very reminiscent on paper of the 2019 roster that took us all the way to the championship game. I know some people, especially Kyle Shanahan, the picture that I have up here is he was doing a press conference and talking about how Trey Lance is going to start, but it's going to be, scripted, specifically tailored plays for him, most likely RPO type plays to keep defenses on their edge, but Jimmy's going to be, going to get the vast majority of the snaps, and he's just going to be sprinkled in here and there. But I saw a bar erupt. I don't know if you saw this video. A bar was erupting as they were watching the live press conference of Kyle Shanahan alluding to the fact that Trey Lance is going to start, little sprinkles here and there.
Okay, so hold on. I have to interrupt you on that. Okay, so that clip that I saw that clip. That clip is gone viral, and I have to explain something to our GoldCast Empire. So they've actually used that clip of the bar erupting for a variety. What people do is they superimpose a variety of different sports moments.
It's a meme. Okay.
Yeah. So I've seen it going viral, and a lot of people have also thought that I believe that original reaction is a soccer game in Europe. I think is where that crowd reaction comes from. And so
are the colors of that team red? Because there's a lot of red and white in the bar.
Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to find out because there's been a variety of different sports moments superimposed to that TV screen.
It's a meme. It's a video meme.
Yeah, it's a meme. Yeah. So don't worry. A lot of people thought that was an actual San Francisco reaction. That went viral. That was like all over the place. But no, it actually is not. It's not. It's someone just put our clips over that crowd reaction.
Well, there's lots of comments that seem to be in favor of that enthusiasm.
Oh, totally, though.
Which is definitely overblown to me. I'm excited to see Trey Lance, but I'm way more excited to see the defense play. I'm way more excited to see the nucleus of our offense that we've watched the past few years play together, including Jimmy Garoppolo. That, to me, I'm more galvanized to see that than to watch Trey Lance come in here and watch him run an RPO play. I mean, I think he's going to throw, but I think more often he's also going to run to and then keep, he's going to do something very similar to what the Baltimore Ravens do right now. I think that's going to be the primary script for the plays that we see him involved in. But don't be surprised if he, lets loose, through the air as well, which I think you have to do that. Otherwise, it becomes a very predictable play when he comes into the lineup. And so I think you have to do a flea flicker or something like that with him. Play action is obviously going to be involved there. So it would be nice to see him get a throw or two off, depending on how Kyle has the ratio scripted up, but I think it's going to be a majority of it is going to be run plays.
So I'm going to say this. I'm going to comment on one thing you said. You said that, this team is very reminiscent of 2019. This is also something I've seen online. And I agree. But there's a difference. I think this team is better. You've got Jalen Hurd, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, all playing together for the first time ever since they've all been drafted. We've never seen that before. You have Alex Mack, Trent Williams, all next to each other. Mike McGlinchey. Never seen that before. You have a healthy Jimmy G. Hopefully. You have a defensive line that is monstrous. A secondary that is monstrous.
Yeah, D Ford appears to be back.
D Ford appears to be back. So you have a new nucleus here. This gives us shades of 2019, but let's not underplay the fact that this is a team that I think is better than the 2019 team. I really do. I think on paper, this team is better. It's a better offensive line. It's a better wide receiver core. It's a better defensive core. And so I am really excited to see what this version of the 49ers can do. I believe we're the best team in football. I've made it no secret to anybody that'll listen that I think the 49ers are poised to make another Super Bowl run. I think if everyone stays healthy and everyone is clicking on all cylinders the way they're capable of with this team and with Kyle Shanahan as their coach, I see no reason why we can't go all the way and win the Super Bowl this year. We need everyone to stay healthy. We're going to need a little bit of luck. We're going to need a lot of badass play. And we're going to need Kyle Shanahan to do Kyle Shanahan things. But if all those things can happen together and can all come together, I see no reason why we can't beat anybody. I want the Bucs in the NFC Championship, baby. Let's go. Jimmy G versus Tom Brady. Let's make it happen. Put it down on the calendar. Let's make it happen.
Yes, and if that ended up being the Super Bowl, I would be...
the NFC Championship.
The NFC Championship, then that would be a fantastic matchup. I think the road to the Super Bowl, barring injury, is through San Francisco, just because the same teams that are coming up against us are the same teams that struggled against us in 2019, and they're facing, by and large, that same roster with new wrinkles, a more aggressive defensive coordinator, more weapons for Kyle Shanahan to employ in his complicated play-action heavy offense. So I just think that people are still going to be guessing Kyle Shanahan once again this season, including his proteges like Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay. So, and he's had the best of their numbers in the past 2 years. Even the down years, he played them very well. So I expect more of that this season, albeit they will be challenging games, especially the first half. And hopefully they're not nail biters, because that's always nerve-wracking to watch, but it makes for good football nonetheless. So I'm excited for the season, excited to see this, even this Kansas City Chargers Vegas Raiders matchup. I'll be in Hawaii by the time the Raiders matchup comes here, but I'm hoping to find a cool spot to watch the game at. And I'm excited to just kind of watch the rookies and the starters kind of go through their reps, because that's just how big of fans we are here. We don't watch exhibition MLB baseball, but we do watch exhibition NFL football, because NFL football is a big deal in the family and here on the GoldCast. And so we're excited to see everyone just get back on the field and put the pads on.
Absolutely. And what say you, GoldCast Empire? How excited are you for the new 49ers season? Are we Super Bowl bound? Are we Super Bowl capable? Let us know in the comments. Go to youtube.com/thegoldcast and let us know if you believe the 49ers are ready to make another run. And so concludes another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the first, baby.
Boom! We'll see you next time. Same GoldCast time, same GoldCast channel.